Greetings, everyone. It's good to have you with us again this week. Welcome to our 90th episode of Lightbulb Moments. Remember, money isn't the most important thing in life, but it is like oxygen on the God of Habit scale. I'm Tom Kuhn. I am the CEO of Qnity as well as Qnity for Schools. I'm also a Beauty Changes Lives board member. Qnity is here to make financial wellness simple, visual, and actionable. So that you can achieve whatever your dreams are for prosperity. Financial wellness is really the mission. We have a Money Pro, which is a benefit that you can bring to your employees. This is a new product for us. We're super excited about this. It has huge benefits for the employer and employees. We also, it's almost coming upon a year now, that we launched our financial success, financial literacy training for schools. We're already at over 14,000 students and almost 100 campuses to give you an idea how important this information is. And we're super excited about that. We also have a Money SBO workshop coming up in Minnesota here, led by Candace Gliato. This is for small business owners and their teams, management team. So registration is open for that as we speak. To prosper, manage your ATM, your attention, time, and money. And it's not lost on us that you're spending your precious time with us today. So thank you. Our last guest, which was 2 weeks ago, was Tracy Herring, who talked about opening up her third location and evaluating whether you start from scratch or whether you buy an existing location. We also had Candace Gliato on here, following her in her journey to go from 1 to 2 locations. We also celebrated some amazing financial discipline by Candace and her business, as well as Lords and Ladies. Lords and Ladies is over 52 consecutive weeks of having weekly finance meetings, and it's made a huge impact in their business. And Candace has had 398 weeks, actually 400 weeks, because this was 2 weeks ago that she's done weekly tracking. So congratulations to Candace and opening up her second location in Portland. Past recordings of the Lightbulb Moments, a financial roundtable, is posted on YouTube. It's also in our Plan for Profits portal. We welcome members of the salon and spa community as well as schools. And some of the language we use, I'll get to it a little bit today, but our guest spotlight today will be Van Council. We'll be getting to Van in just a few minutes here. This is a three-peat for Van. We will be awarding his third $1 million light bulb today. So we like to check in with Van, and this is going to be, we've got some really good stuff to talk about today with Van. Let me go through my light bulb moment for the week here. And, you know, for those of you that are new to the roundtable, which we actually call light bulb moments now, we use terminology here. A light bulb moment is just some insight that can come in a spurt or can come from research, a conversation, any moment that really can be a defining moment to create some type of positive change in your business. The 9 grid is a tool that we frequently refer to. Usually in our invites, we attach a 9 grid so you can use that to keep notes. We also talk about something called the golden light bulb, which is what we award once a year. Last year, we awarded it to Sam Bricado and my friend Megan Jasper down at Gadabout. And the Brain Trust really are people that graciously give their time to join us during these weekly light bulb moment roundtables. And Van is definitely a member of our Brain Trust that we love to talk in, keep in touch with. So light bulb moment, here's where I'm going to go, light bulb moment of the week here. And I think that over the next 2 months, this will really be a standing segment as we really look at the need for data and research to help create maybe a little bit of eliminate the gap between perception and reality in many different areas. And so I have spent a lot of time researching, working on a project, a compensation project. Many of you have heard about it. This is really about helping us tell a different story about earnings and pro beauty through data. We did phase one, which was more of a beta type group. We had many of you that were gracious enough to contribute to phase one, and realized that we need to go much deeper into this, increase the sample size, et cetera. So heads up, we would love to have you join this study. There's no charge to be in this study. You will actually get the report for free if you do participate in this study. There is a QR code I'll give you in a moment that will take you to a spot on our website where you can learn a little bit more, as well as just enter some basic information about your interest. You wouldn't be submitting any data. It looks like this. So this, if you haven't already done this, if you already have not expressed an interest in being part of phase two of the study, please use this QR code. I'll also have someone on our team put in the chat where you can go to get this information. But let me go to my light bulb moment of the week. It was 2 weeks ago, I talked about a report by the Century Foundation. And a lot of it had to do with the schools, but it permeated, went well beyond the schools, and really discussed things like the poverty of cosmetology earnings, and really painted a picture of extremely low, they used the word poverty, of earnings in cosmetology. And that really doesn't tell the full story. They compared to different industries that were four-year degree industries, such as, and they referred to them as fields employing mostly women. They used education, dental assistants, and nursing, and made all sorts of comparisons against that. Many of those comparisons were built on bias and false assumptions. And then also the data was coming from the U.S. Department of Education, and their disclaimer is they cannot fully confirm the completeness of the data. So right up front is saying the data is incomplete, but yet we're using this information to make policy decisions. So I've got another report that I want to share with you today that really I think continues to put a highlight on how data is being used and how data is influencing public policy, and ultimately is affecting the quality of people that we attract in the industry, the number of people we attract in the industry, and then also the own self-perception within the industry. And this is a report by the Department of Justice, which is a, how do they describe it? The nation's only libertarian public interest law firm. And it goes on to talk about training, but also in particular, what are the economics of the cosmetology occupation? And here are some of the findings that come out of this that I want to share with you. And one is that, or the key point is that if aspiring cosmetologists graduate and become licensed, they frequently end up in jobs with low wages and work long hours with very little time off, which makes it difficult to pay back loans. Continuing on this report, some of the findings, and I really would love to get the chat going to see some of your comments about this data. Now, this report was issued in 2021, but the data that they were using was from 2016. And what they came up with was the cosmetologist averaged about 35 hours a week, and 62% reported that they worked 50 to 52 weeks. In other words, no weeks off per year. 17% reported working over 40 hours a week, with many having second jobs, which are being attributed to low wages. So very interesting. Now, I'm going to stay on this second job for a moment. One of the things that we've seen again and again, and one of the reasons really for the grassroots compensation study, which now is going bigger, is that we found that many seriously underestimate their earnings in their current job. Story after story, I've shared some of those on the roundtable here today. Going back to my second haircut as a salon owner, when one of our team members told me that she couldn't afford health insurance and she needed to make more money. Said, how much money do you need to make? This was many years ago. How much money do you need to make to afford health insurance? She said $35,000. No, she said $30,000 a year. Checked her payroll record. She was making $45,000 a year before tips. It's very common for professionals in this industry to grossly underestimate their earnings and make decisions such as taking second jobs, denying health insurance, et cetera, et cetera. Some other information that came out of this report is that using earnings in line with the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which they are what they are, but it doesn't really tell the full stories about the opportunity in pro beauty. And this particular report compares to cooks, janitors, and concierges who had higher median incomes and didn't require licenses. So anyway, my light bulb moment for the week is that we've got some work to do to better educate the public about the opportunity in pro beauty from an earnings and an hours standpoint. And while the study that we're working on cannot tell the full story because we can't query all the industry, what we can do is we can get data that could help better communicate that this is a first choice career. So that is my light bulb moment of the week. I would love to see some of your comments. I would also love to make sure that any and all of you participate in the compensation study. This year, for the next round of the data collection, it'll be submitted directly to an independent CPA firm, Lighthard Sanders. So more about that in upcoming weeks. But with that, Van, how you doing?
Good morning, Tom. I'm doing great. How are you?
It's good to see you. We had a nice chat yesterday. You having a good summer?
Yeah, I'm having a great summer. It's been a great year.
Good, good. Well, boy, when I was talking to you yesterday, we kind of started out talking about a couple things, and I said, "Whoa, Van, you got to talk about that." You had a couple of great nuggets to come out of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to center on like 3 subjects, Van. We're going to center on compensation, some of the findings I just shared with you. I'd love to get your perspective on that. Then we're going to talk about a little bit about you breaking bread, as well refer to it, and really now that over the last 2 years, your connection with your staff. Of course, your connection has been strong, but it's a new heightened connection that increases in person. So that'd be second topic. And the third is I think this group is going to be very interested in what you did with findings from a team survey and a little bit of, we'll call reverse psychology. Okay.
All right. Ready to go.
All right, man. So, all right. What is your reaction to what I just shared about earnings and hours and pro beauty?
I think it's great what you've discovered, the changes you're trying to make people more aware of what hairdressers make, because my whole life, every time I read, we're normally not even listed on surveys of what people make in the country. They're always putting it out. Hairdressers aren't even on there, but when I read 16,000, 25,000 a year, I mean, I've never, ever thought for a minute that was correct. I figured it's people reporting that's renting, that's not claiming any income, because I know my first year in hairdressing in 1977, I earned $25,000 and I was charging $6 a haircut or something, right? So, but yeah, it's way underreported. And why would you want your children to go into an industry that makes $20,000 a year with no benefits? Of course, you're going to fight them about going to cosmetology school, So I think what you're doing could change the perception of hairdressing, just by exposing the truth. We know these numbers because we just did a company event. We have 250 service providers, and we had 50% of them make over 100,000 last year, and that's with 401k and half their insurance paid. And then we had 17 people who made over 150,000, and then we had 4 that made over 200,000. So yeah, when I read people make 16, 17,000, it's not real. We even figured out, we've been tracking the tips with our assistants, and really when you add in their tips and the hairdressers tip them out, they're making $18 to $20 an hour, but it doesn't look that way because, we're saying it's $10, $12 an hour, when we're out recruiting, but it's really more like 18 to 20 with all the tips. So I think it's great. It's time to, let people know how much potential this industry have. And like you said, the people, I got a girl making 200,000 a year. She works 3 days a week. There's not a lot of jobs out there that you can do that, so I think it's really, you're on the right path.
Those are some amazing numbers you just shared. And thank you for your transparency in sharing those numbers. And let me backfill a little bit and tell a little bit about the Van Michael salons, and you could round out. So you have how many locations now in Atlanta, Georgia?
We have 8 locations, so 7 of them, are the Van Michael salon that, caters to 80% clientele is women. Then we have 1 location that's a barber shop, at the Battery. So, so 8 locations, about 430 employees total.
And then you have a licensing deal for in Japan. Is that correct?
Yeah, we do. So we have 42 salons in Japan. There's about 800 employees there, and this is our 22nd year of being in Japan. So
wow,
that's been a fun journey.
Well, I always love talking with you, and I've always admired, and I think you embody a business model and a human that really embraces both the artistic and the business side of the business. Your business practices are stellar. I've had a chance to look under the hood, and I can speak with a great deal of confidence that everything you say in terms of your performance and all that's rock solid. But the creative side of your business is off the charts too. And so, I always love to have you on here, and always love to chat with you about other stuff that we cover, such as fitness and family and all that. But we'll stay focused with this group here today. So this is the 3rd time I've had you on here. I had you on here 2020, right after things had opened up. Had you sometime last year, can't remember exactly when it was. And then here we are today.
Yeah.
And so fill me in, what's going on, what's current. And you talked a little bit about breaking bread with your team. So why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, I will. It's funny. One thing we talked about yesterday, I want to say, and I'm finding a lot of salons are telling me the same thing, is that, our best year ever was 2019. And when COVID hit 2020, we were down so 2019, we did like 29 million. 2020, we were down 9 million. And I really, truly thought man, it is over. We're never going to do 2019 numbers again. I thought even if we do, it's going to take 5 years. I thought that had derailed us for where we're headed, but we are on pace this year to break our 2019 numbers, and I'm talking to a lot of salon owners are all having their best years ever. And I'm not really sure why we all are having our best years ever with a lot of challenges in the industry, but I'm very grateful that we were back on track. Our biggest challenge, and once again, this is kind of seems to be everybody's challenge, is just getting people out of school, getting the interns. 2018 and 2019, we would average over 500 applications a year. And we hired maybe 40 to 45 people. So that gave us really a nice advantage to get the cream of the crop. But this year we might end up with 60 applications for the whole year, and we're just pretty much hiring anybody who walks through the door. So it's been really hard. We would probably hire 10 people tomorrow if 10 good people would show up. So I have stylists who work with interns, and, we just don't have them to give to them. So that's our biggest challenge at the moment, is getting staff. And we are, as always, I always say our most important job is recruiting. I always talk about college football coaches. If you're at Georgia or Alabama, your number 1 job is recruiting. So we're flying everywhere, Minneapolis, Cincinnati, Florida. We're hitting all the schools, and we're recruiting hard. We've implemented a $1,000 signing bonus if you come to work. So that's seemed to be helping a little bit. And then we have classes every Monday. So if you come to class every quarter and you have a model, you get an extra $1,000 bonus. So you're up to, you could earn an extra $4,000 a year for just participating in class. So, we're doing everything you can. We've seen a little bit of pickup maybe in the last month, but those are really just our biggest challenges right now.
Well, that's a drop, man, from 500 down to 60, and it's a lagging indicator. So what that means is that eventually you'll have staff attrition, even though you don't lose people. I think you managed, you've just launched a handful of people since the pandemic, but it does affect the future earnings of the business with that type of pipeline drying up, Yeah, no,
it's very concerning, no doubt. I think it's like people ask me why, and I think it's just a perfect combination of things. Like one, before, a lot of people would move here from, say, Minneapolis and Cincinnati, but now a 1-bedroom apartment is $2,000. They really can't afford to move here like they could, 4 or 5 years ago. You got a generation, when you talk to them about 2 years of training, that runs them off. To be honest, most of the schools in Atlanta are predominantly Black, and we certainly hire and recruit and want as many as we can, but they don't necessarily want to work in a more of a salon that does European hair. You know what I mean? So they're looking for highly textured salons. They're looking for a lot of booth rental, in their culture. So it's just kind of a combination we're finding. It's not just one thing why people aren't showing up. But how do you solve that? We're going back to having an apprentice program, which I don't love, when people come in and you're paying them, and to get them through that it's hard to get them to stick. But we're doing whatever we can just to get bodies in to help the busy stylists, and the stylists are booked out and busier more than they've ever been. So it is actually very concerning.
Obviously it's not all about income. That's not the big number one motivator, even for a team member, but you can make a lot of money in your salon business. You shared those numbers. It's staggering, really. So your existing staff, and after a long absence of doing photo shoots and all that kind of stuff, you've been pretty intentional recently about bringing things back and breaking bread. And so what are some of the things you've been doing lately to best connect with your existing staff?
Yeah, so we've always been a company who celebrated people's success. I've always taken every new employee to dinner. We would normally wait till we got up to 25 or 30 people. We'd get a private room out of Maggiano's, and we would have a dinner for all the new hires, and they'd go around, tell us where they're from and why they chose us and what they want to do in their goals. And then at the end of 2 years, we would have, when they graduated from New Talents of Van Michael, we would have a promotion dinner. And then I would keep that very small, 3 to 4 people, and take them to, Chops, the most, the nicest restaurants in town, to try to connect to people. So we'd have a Christmas party, we'd have a summer party, just a lot of connecting, So through COVID for 2 years, we didn't do any of that. And I felt, coming out of COVID, once we got to the point that we felt safe to start getting together, I told my office, like, I really want to get back to all these dinners and more, So as the new hires come in, instead of waiting on 20 or 30, I'm taking them 6 at a time, taking them to nicer restaurants, because I just want people. I feel like it's very important, like, I'm more about the people than the numbers, about connecting with my people and letting them know that they can trust me and that they know me. For people to follow you, they got to know you, they got to trust you. And, for having 8 locations, when I walk around, everybody's so busy, I can't know people, So every Tuesday night, just about, I'm having a dinner, in Buckhead with 6 or 8 people. It's funny, I make sure they book me only on round tables, because that way we can all talk. But so the first thing we did at the company, once we decided we could have a company meeting, I booked at the Battery, the Omni Hotel. We had lunch for everybody, lunch catered in, very good lunch. And we had a meeting with everybody, but we didn't bring in guest speakers, or we didn't do hair. It was just, me and Susan and a few of the office people going through some changes we made, but we just, wanted to reconnect with everybody. And honestly, just that one lunch for the whole company just was a positive impact right away. It just reminded me of how important it is to sit down with your people, and I call it breaking bread with them, because you get to know them, they get to know you, they know you're a human, you have challenges. Otherwise, you walk around your salon and people put you on this pedestal that you don't even put yourself on, but they're nervous, they don't know you, and it's just so good to break bread with them and get to know who they are and what their goals and what motivates them. Some people, they want more time off, some people want more money, some people want recognition, so I feel like by getting to know people, and I want to know their names, I want to know where they're from. I just, I feel like I can be a better leader when I know my people.
Yeah, and you're doing it at such a high scale. I would say that very few people on that are with us today have the kind of head count you do. So I think it's very inspiring to be able to do that with a high head count. How was your turnout at the lunch?
Oh, 100%.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
100%. I mean, we put it way out like, hey, we're having a company meeting. It's pretty much mandatory when we have those, it's 1 or 2 a year, but everybody came. I mean, it was a lot of fun. We had champagne in the end. There's bars all around there. I told them all beforehand I'd be hanging at this bar afterwards. I probably had almost 200 people come to the bar. So we had drinks, because that's what hairdressers like to do. They like to socialize and drink and eat and hug, and so that's what I do. That's my role in the company, is let people know that they have a job stability and that they're important to me, because I would hate for somebody to quit and I'd call them up and say, hey, you're very important to me, and I don't know their name, or I've never been to dinner with them. I don't know anything about them. How important do they really feel? But by me sitting down with people just one time and having a dinner, that gives me, when I walk into a salon, that I know them. I can go up and talk to them, and do I remember everybody's name every time? Of course not, what I mean? But I don't even have to say that. I do remember having these dinners, so I think it's very important that, years ago they said, don't be friends with your staff. And I've always disagreed with that, because, I mean, I have a lot of people now. We have 10 people now with 30 years. We have 25 with 20 and over 100 with 10, and the people that spend our 20 and 30 years, I can truly say, I mean, they feel like family to me. I like going out. I enjoy having dinner with these people. We just took 2 weeks ago, I flew 25 people to Minneapolis, and just for training, and I paid everybody's airfare. I paid for the, hotels, airfare, food, everything. And I went more just about spending time with them, let them know I support them and, I'm with them. And, so yeah, I'm very big on breaking bread.
So how long have you, when did you and Michael start the Van Michael Salons? Was it 30 years ago or?
It was July the 31st. So 3 days ago was our 38-year anniversary. So it was 1984.
Congratulations.
We had 7 chairs in Buckhead,
So you've been doing this a long time and you're still pretty juiced about what you're doing, Van.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We take things for granted when it's there, and when it's not there, we wish it was still there. So, I just try to not take it for granted. I mean, there's a lot of good salons in Atlanta. They don't have to work for me. They can make a lot of money other places too. So I appreciate, the only asset we really have is our staff. Unfortunately, I wish I said I owned all the buildings, but I don't own any of them. So, I just got a bunch of empty buildings without my staff. So I don't forget that, I don't mind. I had breakfast this morning with Hannah. She's our creative director already. We're planning to shoot for Naha in 2 weeks. This is another thing to me I do, because I get a big participation and everybody coming, collaborating together for this photo shoot. And then tonight I have another dinner with the educators to make some changes in the program. So I'm breakfast and dinnering all the time, but I do look at my numbers, but I don't really try to say I can't afford to do what I'm doing, you know what I mean? Because it's, at the end of the day, it is out of my pocket. But that I was saying, the biggest expense in life is the money you don't make. So I make a lot more for them working there and me buying them dinner than them not being there anymore, is the way I look at it,
So I'm going to get on to the survey and what you did in that. But before I go, I want to stay with the social piece. So, I've known you long enough to know you're outgoing guy, but you also got to have your downtime too, right? I mean, you're an avid reader, and so is that taxing on you socially, to have that many meetings like that, and breakfast and dinner?
No, honestly, it's really not. I'm not standing behind the chair. I used to do 30 clients a day, 5 days a week. That was taxing on me. Getting
Yeah.
up, going to breakfast, and I mean, now I'm free the rest of the day to have a dinner tonight if I want to be. You know what I mean? It's a lot to me. It seems easy. You know what I mean? I enjoy my staff. I mean, I do. I enjoy and I learn from them. And I learn what's important. I learn what's going on, because if you're not in there, you don't know what's going on. So by having these dinners, I'm always picking up important stuff. Usually after every dinner, I have something to call Susan about the next day and go, hey, do you know, blah, 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 because I do learn stuff, from
And
them.
Susan is your CEO for those that don't
Yeah,
know. Okay.
Right, exactly.
All right, let's get on to the next area that really came at the end of our conversation. And by the way, I haven't even looked at the chat yet, but I think it's kind of all fired up here. So give Van a little shout out if you're enjoying this so far. All right, now I'm going to go. This is kind of the final sort of one topic I wanted to get with you today, and it had to do with that lunch. And you had a survey done with your workforce, with your team.
Yeah.
And I think it's fascinating what you learned from the survey, but even more importantly, what you did with it. So there's the tee up. Take us through this here.
Okay, so we put a survey out to find out why people wanted to leave and rent, go to salon loss. So there was 4 things. Number 1 reason, believe it or not, they said that they wanted to work in loss would be dress code. All right. Number 2 was flexible schedule. Like they want to work 3 days a week, 4 days, 5, whatever they want. They want to be able to work the days they want to work. And number 3 was they want to be off as many days as they want to be, no limited vacation days, unlimited vacation days. And number 4 would be they want to charge whatever they want to charge. They don't want to be told what to charge. So I decided after that survey that I was going to make these changes, at this dinner. So I did at this lunch. So I did. Of course, my office and my friends in the industry, when I was running this by, everybody was going, I don't know if you should do that. But I decided, I'll give you the reasons why I did. So number 1 thing we did was, once you go through your training program and you go on the Van Michael floor after 2 years, you can work 3 days a week, 4 days, 5, whatever, whatever you want. After you've been there for more than, 10 years, you can go down less than 3 days. All right. So before you had to work 5 days a week till 5 years, and you could go down to 4. We didn't let anybody go less than 4 till recently, so I changed that. You can work 3 days a week. I don't care, whatever you want to work. Next thing I changed, we would give people 17 days vacation, 10 paid, 7 unpaid. We took that to 30 days. So they get 10 paid and 20 unpaid days, and then the 4th thing we pass out a sheet of paper saying, starting, you can have a price increase in a month, because it's back early spring. Like in April, we're like, in May, you could go up and charge any price you want. If you want to go up $100 a haircut in a month, you could go up $100 a haircut. I don't care how busy you are. I don't care about client retention or nothing. You write whatever you want. You just tell me what you want to charge. So this made everybody very happy. I mean, man, talking about a good energy, like I said, it picked up the vibes as having the lunch. So that was the thing that people were really partying about, right? So now it's been 6 months and no one has cut down.
Time out 1 second. You forgot about dress code.
Okay, with dress code is the one thing I told them I wasn't going to bend on, that I could not bend on dress code. It's black and white. You can wear all white, all black, combination of however you want to do it. But I wasn't going to bend on dress code because I just don't want to see people looking like they should be charging. I mean, if you want to charge $100 to $200 a haircut, I'm still believing you got to look the part, right? So that was the only thing I didn't give in on. Everything else, here, do whatever you want to with it. So it's funny, after 6 months, just no one really has cut down on any less days. We've had only 2 people that jumped up their prices $20 on haircuts. Nobody even jumped up on their prices. And we've had nobody taking any crazy amount of days off either. So to me, it was just all about, they just don't want to be told what not to do. But once you give them that freedom, they all, just in conversations with them, these dinners are like, well, yeah, that's great, but I got bills to pay. I can't be more often 2-3 weeks a year. I can't work 3 days a week. I wish I could. They just all realize, because they do go, I already realized they go to these salon laws and they work more than ever. Because if you don't work in hairdressing, you don't make money. So I figured it, just they will figure it out. And here's my theory: if you go 3 days a week and you're off 30 days a year, you're going to lose your clientele, but you're going to lose it back to us. They're going to go to other people in the salon instead of you going somewhere else and me trying to fight and give them a free haircut to get them back, you know? So honestly, it just felt like reverse psychology. Like, here, you know what? I give you no reasons to leave now. You know, you got benefits here. You work 25 hours a week. You can be off 30 days. You have benefits. I mean, I'm like, give me the reason why you need to leave. You know, and honestly, we've had nobody to leave. Not one, hadn't lost one hairdresser in 6 months. Like you said, we don't lose many people anyhow. But, and here's the other thing: I was telling Susan them, I'm like, we have never fired any busy stylist for being off too many days, ever. One year, true story, Rob was our top producer. We're going way back. He's bringing in 250,000 a year, but he's notorious for being out 40 days a year. You know, it's something all the time. Susan goes, what are we going to do about Rob? He missed 40 days last year. I said, well, everybody can have 40 days off if they bring in 250,000 a year, because this was literally 15 years ago, right? You know what I mean? So, and that's the truth. All we do is fight about the extra days off. We don't fire them. We don't do nothing. We just fight about it. So it just gets rid of that fight too. If you're a person that can still do the numbers, and now the prices are so high compared to 10 years ago, we've probably at least more than doubled our prices in 10 years. People bring in more than 3 days than they used to in 5, double, you know? So it's just a different day and time, but I decided just, you know, roll with the flow, let them have what they want, you know, and it's working out perfectly.
These are massive changes to your business model. You know, if I would have been in a conversation with you 3 years ago, there's no way you would have gone there.
No.
So talk
5
about
years
adapting
ago,
to the time.
I didn't even want to let people work 4 days. You know what I mean? Like, because like, you know, you got chairs are sitting there empty, the energy, just everything, you know, but it's just a different day and time. I would say half our staff now charge over $100 for a haircut. So it's a different way to look at it compared when they're all charging $35 a haircut, you know?
So your leadership team, did they think you were crazy?
Oh, absolutely. I was going to go with unlimited days off. They all reeled me in on that because they're like, but yeah, I was going to go with unlimited days. So they reeled me back in. So we agreed on 30 with my leadership.
Did you agonize over these decisions?
No.
You just,
I'm like, you know what? As we all know, we know that this generation is not a bump and grind generation. They're not going to do 60 hours a week behind the chair the way we did. It won't happen. We still got the old timers. They want to do it, you know, they want the money, but the new generation don't want to do it, but they don't have to because they're getting so much more money. I mean, it's pretty easy. I figured the average stylist in our company with tips and what they bring is about $600 a day income every day for them.
What would you, and you will be in the phase 2 of the study. Great. It's awesome that the Van Michael salons will be represented in the study. And we had a little chat around that. And what do you estimate the average earnings is for a Van Michael service provider? Honestly,
I would say about 75,000, you know, for the average, but that's like I said, 50% made over 100. So that's in that bottom 50. They're all, after they've been on the floor for 2 years, yeah, they're all like 75,000.
Is that with tips or without tips?
With tip. So here's how I think it works. If you bring in $150,000 and you're making 40%, you know, so there's 60,000 right there, right? Mm-hmm. And you're going to make another probably 30% in tips. So that's going to put you at 90. And then with benefits, that's with paid vacation, 401k match, all that's another $5,000. So if you bring in $150,000, you're going to walk out with $100,000. No matter if you're putting those tips on your credit card, it'll show up on your W-2 if you're not. So if you bring in 150 grand, which is easy in a high-end salon, you can do that 3 days a week, you know, and you can make $100,000 a year.
So we have not everybody joining us today. Is the Van Michael salons that has built such a successful model and don't have, you know, the same number of people. Let's bring this down to somebody on this call that has 10 employees. You know, well, certainly it's a lot easier to break bread than it is for you, but how, I mean, put yourself in their shoes for a moment and say, what's different about their business from yours? Or is a lot of this stuff things they can duplicate in their own business?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's funny. I know was looking in the beginning, Benisa's on here, right?
Who?
Benisa?
I haven't seen here,
Yeah, I
but
thought she's on.
is she? You're ahead of me on that one.
Yeah, she has a salon in Woodstock, but she was one of our first employees. But yeah,
There she is.
she's here. We used to get off on Saturday night when we were a small salon, like you said, 20 people or less, and we'd walk across the street to this Mexican restaurant and eat and have margaritas every Saturday night. We would also do the same thing on Mondays, so we started doing that kind of, don't be telling stories. I'm not going to tell about the time. I won't. Yeah, I won't. But anyhow, so even from the beginning, you can always spend time with your staff and socialize and break bread with them, but I do think our industry in a whole, no matter where you're at, I've been preaching this for 20 years. We have so undercharged for what we do and what we're worth, and we underestimate what people would pay for it. So I think no matter where you're at, you need to really look at your prices, and start really having some aggressive increases. I don't think anybody should be, I think after you've cut hair for 10 years, you should figure out, you should be at least $5 for every year minimum of $10 every year. If you've been doing hair for 10 years, you should be charging $100 for a haircut. If you've been doing hair for 20 years, you should be $200. But I'm talking to a client last week. I'm walking around and she's kind of giving me a hard time a little bit about how much we've been increasing. We've been doing big jumps, right? Like Harry went up $50 at one pop, and didn't slow down a beat. That was like in 2019. But then the woman's telling me she's going to Blackberry Farms for 10 days. It's like $1,000 a night, right? And she's worried about her stylist just went up to $120 for a haircut. So people have money, and when you're high end, those clients that we cater to don't really have recessions. You know what I mean? The recessions don't affect them. So I just think, let your staff charge enough that your staff can make enough of money and work less, and they can't get that in a booth or anywhere else. If they're getting $100 a haircut and they're coming in doing 10 people, they're bringing in $1,000 a day. They're making money. So if it's 3 days, 4 days, I think it's just really important, because you got to give good service and good quality, all that, but don't undercharge. Get it where the people are making enough of money that they can work a little bit less and have some benefits. And I think we'll be fine. Just like I said, go back. Our hard thing is just bringing in the new people, but the people we got, we're not going to leave. They're not going to leave us, if it's the best place that they can work to make money.
All right, I'm going to let you catch your breath. Don't go anywhere here. I think we had a poll that we're going to pop up. Always love to hear. And this is going to give me a quick second to, all right, so here's a quick poll here. Do you think that, so this is for all the participants, see if you guys can all respond to this here. Do you think that adding more in-person events outside of business hours would help your team's development? All right, so we've got, we're going to see that kind of tally here. Meanwhile, I've not had a chance to view the chat at all, and I can see that it's pretty well lit up, and I don't even know if I'm going to have a chance to get through all of it. Can Van tell us the secret to 286,001 day in business? I think I've got that right. Did I ask that right? Van, there's a question there proposed to you from Sonia. James Griffith, good morning. He's been pretty active in the chat here. Let's see what else we got here. It's a brave new world, according to Jan. We got Mark Gonzalez on there. Mark, of course, we love Mark.
Yeah.
Louisa, some great comments in there. In fact, Van, take a moment to read some of the chat, and then I'm going to see who's on the call. So you've got 95% of people, we'll end the poll right now, pretty much agree that these in-person events do absolutely make a difference. So we're going to stop that, the poll right there, and check it out. So Why don't you check out the chat for a moment, Van? Don't go anywhere here with me. And then I'm going to just do a quick, I like to shout out who's with us today and kind of see, because I haven't had a chance here. And I'm not going to be able to say hello to everybody, but we got Jason. You got another neighbor in here, Jason Craven. He's Jill and Jason.
There's a lot. They have a great salon. There's so many, Vanessa. There's so many great salons. Amanda, Jeff South, James, Candy. We're very fortunate to have a strong community of great hair salons in Atlanta. We all. I don't know. Be better.
I don't know any community that does it better than Atlanta. How you guys all collaborate well. And you mentioned Jeff and Amanda and Vanessa and Cravens and you. And all right, so we got Jason, we got Allison, Anna, Andrew, Anna. I do want to congratulate Anna Johnson, who is the new owner of the Van. You might not have even read about this, but Carrie Bennett has sold her salon.
I did see that yesterday.
And Anna, we're going to give you a little shout out. Give Anna. She's a new salon owner after many, many months. Anna, you and I both know that, of hard work behind the scenes. We also have Anthony and Austin and Brenda and Candace and Kathy and Cheyenne. Such great people on this. Christine, Sissy, Connie, David, Dawn, Dutch, Eduardo, Heather, Holly, Jackie, James, Jan, Janet, Jared, Jennifer, Jenny, Jess, Jim and Stone, Joe, Jean, Karen, Carrie, Kelly, Kevin, Con, Kip, Louisa, Linnell. Good morning, Linnell. Mark, Megan. Hi, Megan. I think we got both of our golden light bulb winners this week. We got Megan and Sam on here. Melissa, Michael, Michelle. Hello, Michael Shea, by the way. I hope you made it back to Seattle. Okay, it was great to see you in person. Michelle. Hi, Nina, Rebecca, Roberto, Ross, Sam, Sharon, Sheila, Sonia, Susan, Tanya, Terry and Vanessa. So good group today. Van, what a great conversation with you today.
Thank you. So somebody asked a question how to do 286,000. I did post that. So once every couple months, we have customer appreciation days where we do an email blast about a week or two before that they can get 25% off on anything in the salon on retail. And it usually doubles our sales for that day total. Like if our average day is 120, 130, we would at least double that day. And that day we went over double. So really just doing those customer appreciation days every couple months, doing an email blast, letting them pre-order. That's how we crank those numbers up a few times a year.
Awesome. Anything else you want to address in the chat?
I mean, I think we've covered most of it. Okay. I appreciate everybody logging on this morning, being supportive, and hey, we're fortunate and we're blessed to be in a great industry, and we have a lot of great people like you, Tom, and your company, and just all kind of great organizations in our industry to keep us all motivated and keep us educated and keep us going. So we all appreciate you too. So thank you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Let's give Van a virtual round of applause. Bravo. A lot of light bulb moments today. I can wave the flag. And Van, this will be your third. This is a three-peat for you. So you'll be getting your
awesome. Thank you.
Next $1 million light bulb. So
okay.
Van, thanks.
Thank you all very much. Have a great day.
All right. Excellent. All right. I've got a couple other things before we wrap up, folks. We are on next week. And let me see where I left off here. All right. So here is the QR code again to put your hat in the ring here to be part of the compensation study, to help us tell a different story about earnings and pro beauty through data. Joining the study, absolutely confidentiality is paramount. Company and employee data will remain protected. No employee names will be used. No company wages will be released, and it's for the purpose of elevating the industry. When you go to, and someone from our team, please type in the chat the website, the place on our website for this. Again, I put the QR code. I'll put it up again in a moment, but all you really need to do at this point is just enter this information. Then we have you on the list. We will be open just to provide a little clarity about the compensation study. There's two parts to it. There's a data submission, where we build a separate sheet for each company to, on a private basis, insert payroll data without us seeing the names or any other identifier to reveal who the person is. That part of the study will open in just a matter of days. We're finalizing some potential minor changes to the methodology. And then that data will be submitted directly to Lightheart-Sanders, the CPAs. So we'll call that the data submission. And then there will be a separate survey that will be released in a couple weeks. We want a little bit more time because the survey is going to be much bigger. And we're going to ask a lot more great questions of you. So the data in the next study will be much more robust than it was in the first time. But we also are very sensitive to making it accessible to large and small employers, particularly small employers. We don't want this study just to be about the Van Michael salons. We want to make it approachable to everybody. So hence the methodology we keep very simple. Also, we have opened up enrollment for the 2 to 10 conference, which is in October. You do need to be multi-location. You do need to qualify to be part of this. I believe an email went out on this last week. And then remember really what we tick and what makes us tick and why we actually have Qnity is to create greater financial wellness for Pro Beauty. Money Pro is our benefit for employees. Money SBO is for owners and managers to learn more about the finance function. And then of course we have Qnity for students. Qnity for schools, which is our money course for students. So shout out to our sponsors, Lightheart-Sanders, as well as Qnity. And I do want to thank all of you. We are keeping these sessions under the hour. So on that note, this is the official end to the roundtable, or Lightbulb Moments. We changed the name. And so we will see you next week. We'll have another great guest next week. Thanks to Sonia, thanks to Michelle, thanks to JP and everybody else that are behind the scenes to make the roundtable happen. So see you next week. Thanks again. And I hope you enjoyed this session, and recruit other people to be on the roundtable too. I keep calling it the roundtable. It's Lightbulb Moments. We changed it. It's not really a roundtable. It's Lightbulb Moments. So thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye now.